Without further ado, my name is Troy Gregory. I am known as Wisetruth, a name that was given to me during my journey throughout life. Um, I wanted to start, I think, with why I decided to come up with the title of the world of the unseen. So I think in the society that we live in, a lot of things are associated with classism, financial gain, and oftentimes when people are not part of certain classes or have enough finances in their purse, they are easily overlooked, right? Being part of a community of homeless people for a very long time, I've been part of that community where I was in the world of the unseen, right? I think a lot of people tend to overlook those who actually need help in certain ways, right? Moving forward, though, because I want to touch on different things and I want to make sure I do this within the time that's allotted. So, being from the world of the unseen, I discovered something while I was homeless, and that one thing was that you could find some of the brightest minds in the darkest parts of the world, right? But then, what platform do they have to actually tell their story, right? And I think this carried with me throughout my life, especially during that span of time while I was homeless that led to me actually starting Human, right? Human, in my opinion, was given to me through a spiritual experience, right? It wasn't something I believe that here's another phrase I have. I believe there's a difference between ideas that you think of on your own volition versus ideas that come to you. And Human was an idea that came to me almost as if it's its own entity that's designing itself through me. Just to reintroduce it to everyone, Human is a multimedia platform where we encourage people to find truth in another person's perspective, bringing people together one culture at a time. So, what I wanted to do was give the everyday man and woman a platform to come on and speak their story. I found on, excuse me, YouTube and several other platforms that people were being kind of recycled, right? And they were titled Thought Leaders and Influencers. And don't get me wrong, some of the stories that I ran across were very profound, but I've also came across people who I met in person that had very profound stories, but no way of telling them or getting them out there. And so I was grateful to serve, or I'm grateful, excuse me, to serve the world, the global community, as which I am intending to build with Human. I'm grateful to serve that because I feel like people need that outlet to feel like they're being heard. I once told a person that most people, uh, uh, and want to be, most people kind of do want to be heard, but I think more important, they want to be seen. But in this case, with Human, I think it's a case of people, more importantly, being heard. And how their story is told and how that conveys with other people so that they can learn from their experience and also see that we're not too far apart from each other in terms of being human, right? But I wanted to take a little step back also because I want to make sure I stuck to the layout of things that I want to speak about. So when it comes to spirituality, I do not judge other people for the way they feel, and I think that's very important that people don't do that. I think it's I think it's a disservice to go against a foundation that keeps a person grounded, especially on a righteous path, right? I have come to my own realizations of the higher power. Most people call the higher power God that I've came across. I call the higher power that governs the positive energy of the universe. I think from me being homeless and coming across a lot of different forms of information in the world, I was able to conclude that that is what works for me, right? Which kind of puts me on a path of spirituality that seems kind of rogue because it doesn't fit into the mode or it doesn't fit into the denominations that are already out there, right? And I will want to encourage people who are listening to me now to don't be afraid to be different. You know, we all don't have the answers. I think that's another disservice that sometimes we do as human beings is we are afraid to say that we don't know. And I'm okay at this point in my life in saying that I don't know certain things. I don't have the answer to all, but at least I'm trying to gain certain bits of information and knowledge. And maybe for my whole life, I may not know exactly, what the truth is. But I did try my best to be a great person, and to seek out more truth that I can understand and believe, right? Um, Moving forward, one thing I think I've learned while being homeless, that carries with me throughout life, is that everybody does have a story, right? I think it's important how that story is conveyed. Even when you share stories with your fellow coworkers or friends, you know, the impact of that story comes from how it is told. And how you choose to convey your experiences, in my opinion, is very important. It could be a lesson for someone else, it could be a guidance for someone who needs it in tough times. And you never know which way you could change a person's life. Here I am in front of you now, speaking to you after being homeless for 15 years, with a load of experiences that I can share, that you can learn from and gain knowledge from and carry with you throughout life. Right. So I want to say definitely thank you guys for having me today.